Hello and welcome to the Gold Coast City Marina Gold Coast to Mackay Yacht Race. I'm your host Jordan Spencer. You may have met me on the Volvo Ocean Race, Sail GP or heard me on Bar Karate. Joining me in commentary, Daniel Hutchinson. She's born here on the coast, or she's lived and grown and sailed up here on the coast. She's skippered her own yacht. She's family, has a chandlery that's part of the Gold Coast City Marine, and of course you were the stand-in for the Jessica Watson movie doing all the sailing.
Yes, that was the True Spirit movie with Netflix. So a couple of years back, that was a really fantastic opportunity. So, and awesome to stay in touch with the sailing community.
I was just about to call you Jessica then, Danielle. I've just got you so into character. We're here on your hometown, the beautiful Gold Coast. We're about to watch the start of a 500-mile yacht race. You're a fanatic for sailing. How excited are you?
I'm really excited and so pleased to be able to join you here. We're hoping that there's a beautiful 10-knot southerlies, so it should be a beautiful, spectacular start with the kites going. So I'm really excited to be out here to see all the boats head off on this epic journey up to Mackay.
Now, this is sort of a new race on the calendar. It's a feeder race that takes everyone up to the Whitsundays, where there's those regatta weeks that occur. It's a brilliant idea. The Southport Yacht Club is the host here. That's your home turf. There's some fantastic sailors that have come out of that club.
It's been really good. I've spent the morning going around and talking to a lot of the boats. A lot of them are using it as a qualifier for Sydney to Hobart. We've got a lot of boats heading straight up to Hamilton, Early Race Week, Hamilton Island, Maggie Race Week. So there's quite a big program. A lot of them have also come from Sydney Gold Coast earlier this week. There've been a few breakages and a few emergency fixes over the last couple of days, but everyone is on the start line today, so we're really excited to see that.
Yeah, and we're excited to get the racing underway. We've got about an hour build up where we're going to go through the fleet and look at the boats, and we're going to tell you all about the race. So as we do that, we're going to move inside and we're going to show you where we are here on the Gold Coast. All right, we are underway with our preparation. So my apologies. Okay, so what we're going to do is just come through and give you some background on the race. We will throw to our on the water reporter shortly. He's just busy at the moment. But Danielle, this is an event. Our sponsor, the GCCM, is an award-winning repair, refit, berthing solutions facilitator for jet skis through to super yachts.
That's correct. The Gold Coast City Marina would be the largest shipyard and marina in the Southern Hemisphere. It's home to over 90 businesses on the Gold Coast here, and it's become a real repair and refit hub for anything that you need. It's got everything you need from anti-foulers, painters, trimmers, the chandlery, so it's quite a comprehensive precinct and well worth a visit for any boating travelling north or south every year.
Excellent. All right, well, the exciting thing is we are doing this race. It's 520 nautical miles. The race record is held by Wild Thing, which was set last year. 1 day, 11 hours, 35 minutes. Any idea? Do you think they'll break the record?
Having spoken to the skipper, Grant Warrington, yesterday, I think he's looking about 35 hours. I don't know if he's going to break the record. We've got that low pressure system coming in tomorrow, although I think they'll be well ahead of it if they can get through this light stuff today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The weather discussion and what's going to happen is going to be really, really interesting. It's a challenging race, not just from the wind and the waves, but also the current effect that runs down the east coast of Australia.
Correct, especially around that Sandy Cape, around that sort of 70 metre mark, that 35 fathoms, it really starts to honk south at about 1.5 knots. So the boats will have to be quite clever, quite careful to stay inside that line.
Yeah, so there are a lot of trophies to be won. Of course, we do have the PHS Perpetual Trophy, which is the Rob Mundell Trophy. Matthew Belcher is the name of the IRC trophy, so limping champion, world champion, 470 sailor, and all-round nice guy.
He's a bit of a local favourite, especially at the Southport Yacht Club. Having grown up there, he's been very well supported. So I think that'll be a... Apologies. Like I said, that'll be quite the honour for the IRC boats to receive that trophy.
There's also the GCCM Line Honours Trophy, the Colin Metcher ORC Trophy, and the Jamie Morris OMR Perpetual Trophy. So there's some trophies to be won. The winner of the race is not Line Honours, it's the person on IRC. It's the Matt Belcher Trophy.
That's correct, yes. Yep. That's the one that everyone really will be looking forward to. Often the kudos goes to the Line Honours boat, but it's not necessarily the first to the finish in that one. So.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to understand because all the boats are quite different, and so the way we equalise them is using a standardised rating rule. And so there's a bunch of different rules. The one that the overall winner from this event is the IRC winner.
Correct, yes. They can't all be the same. All the boats are not all the same. Could be one of the smaller boats that actually wins. Who knows, depending on how they go.
All right, now what we need to do is find out what the skippers are thinking and how they've been feeling. And we had a welcome party for them the other night. And as part of that, we had Jasmine Ruck chat to some of the skippers. We thought we might go and have a look at what Jasmine had to say.
Excellent.
We're here, we're ready set for the second annual Gold Coast City Marina Gold Coast to Mackay Yacht Race. In 2025, it's our second year running the race at the Southport Yacht Club, and this year we've got 27 boats joining us for the big trip up north. Last year we had 12 boats, so it's been a massive increase to see this many boats from the USA, from New Zealand, from Australia, from Hong Kong, all joining the fleet to make that big trip up north. The race kicks off at 1300 hours outside the Surfers Paradise skyline on the Gold Coast before the boats make the 520 nautical mile trip up north to Mackay. In 2024, Grant Warrington's Wild Thing 100 took out the Line Honours Trophy, completing the race in approximately 36 hours. This year, their title's up for grabs and they're looking to chase down their record to beat that again this year. For the other competitors, we're looking at meeting them up at the Mackay Village Marina sometime over the weekend through Saturday night into Sunday and potentially even Monday. This race is a navigator's paradise, dodging between reef structures and bommies, meeting with whales all the way up to Mackay Village Marina. This race is certainly going to be challenging. I spoke with a few of the skippers and crew hanging around the Southport Yacht Club Marina to see how people are feeling before the event starts.
It seems that we've got one more additional entry very last minute. Elizabeth, what do you have to say about this?
I don't know, I enjoyed Gold Coast, like Sydney to Gold Coast so much that I guess I just want a bit more of it. I was always doing Gold Coast to Mackay. I was racing on Georgia Express, which is the Mum 36, but yeah, I think I might need to just maybe change my crew shirt now.
Guys, right here on the ground at Gold Coast to Mackay Yacht Race pre-party.
I think it's going to be a first rate Irish and racing double-handed race.
You guys raced the inaugural Gold Coast to Mackay race last year, didn't you?
We did, yeah, we came second, so on IRC, and we pretend we're not competing hard, but no, absolutely. Have fun first, but absolutely we want to go as hard as we can.
What are you most looking forward to about this time round and competing with Making Waves?
Oh well, competing with Making Waves and competing with some absolute legends of sailors on board. Yeah, the Wendy Tuck and Bridget and Kathy Beale. I'm just really excited to sail with those women. I'm looking forward to a nicer start this time.
And with the Gold Coast to Mackay race coming up, what are you most looking forward to for this weekend?
Warmer waters, a nice breeze. We had a good run up on the Gold Coast race. but the actual in the warmer waters and the night, I hope we see you guys up there, and I hope we get in the winter circle. The owner will be very happy.
Andy, what are you most looking forward to this year for the Mackay race?
Oh, I'm actually really looking forward to getting to Mackay.
Yeah. And the crew are all keen, they're ready to go?
Crew are ready to go.
Yeah, have you got any absolute rock stars on board this year?
Well, they all think they're rock stars.
It'll be great vibes then all the way up to Mackay for you guys.
Grant, how are you feeling today?
Good morning. Feeling great. It's a nice forecast for us. So we've got a nice little southerly and spinnaker start, and then it might be a little bit funky in the middle, but then we should be into some good breeze after the top of Breaksea Spit. Be nice to finish in daylight, just on sunset, Saturday night. But we'll see how we go. Tell Pete I'll stay away from his wind shadow this year. He didn't like me last year. Went over the top of him.
Excellent. So we found out what the skippers are thinking. Now, apart from the wonderful Danielle, who's joining me in commentary, we've got a young fella out on the water who's going to take us up close to the boats. Now, this guy, if he's not sailing with his family on his trailer sailor, the Barmy Army, or if he's not out racing VX1s where he's the current national champion, or if he's not coaching school teams in teams racing or doing match racing, he's out here helping us on the water. He's so involved, he gets into everything. His nickname should be Rust, but his real name is Hayden Barney. G'day, Hayden. How you going, mate?
Hey, Jordan. Thanks for the intro. It's pretty good out here on the water today, and I'm really looking forward to watching the action and bringing you live coverage.
Hayden, you're going to be our man on the water. Have you got a favourite boat? What's your preference when you look at boats? You've sailed everything.
Look, there's so many cool boats out here, and many different shapes and sizes. They all have like a little bit that I'm like, oh, that would be really fun. I've jumped on the Sunfast 3300s that are out here. They're a good bit of fun, but the one boat I've probably got my eyes on and looking at is that Wild Thing 100. It is just so big, so impressive, and incredible to watch sailing out. So we got a good clip of it that might come out later of it sailing out the Seaway. And yeah, it's just an impressive bit of kit that's rocketing around the racetrack.
Well, that's cool. Now, you're on the water. What actually are the conditions like on the water, my friend? What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, we've got a good breeze blowing down the coast, and as you can see, we've got a little bit of wave action, so that's going to help everyone set kites, hopefully, early at the start, and then carry them all the way down the coast. So it should be a real live action start. And should be a lot of speed involved, which will be really cool to watch. And the breeze, their conditions are expected to increase throughout the day, throughout the weekend. So we'll have to watch the trackers to see how they all go overnight. Yep,
it is definitely going to be interesting. Of course, Danielle, whilst we've got Hayden, one of the things that is going to be interesting is it's dead downwind, as Hayden had said, but we're going to have boats that set symmetrical spinnakers and boats that set asymmetrical spinnakers starting on the same line. And so they're going to be heading in different angles, and there could be some fun on the start line at this start.
Could be really interesting to see who sticks in really close to the beach and who sort of starts a little bit further out, especially with those two different sail choices.
Yeah. Hayden, which do you think is going to be faster, an asymmetrical or a symmetrical spinnaker for this start?
Well, you mentioned our Barney Army. It's a little Elliott 7 with the symmetrical setup. I think that's going to be pretty well suited to this. But again, some of those asymmetric boats are going to be able to get ripping and shoot down the coast. So just got to watch how close they get to that EAC.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to come back to all that. Well, that is part of our discussion, the EAC. Talk about the current. We're going to talk about the times and talk some of the strategy. So we'll come back to you on that in a bit, my friend. At the moment, though, Danielle, if we're looking at the race time, 520 nautical miles, we've got Wild Thing 100 in the fleet. The record they've got is 111. You were talking before that 35 hours. You used to run a Beneteau first 40.
Yeah.
What sort of time do you think that a boat like that would take with the current forecast? Because
I'd like to think that the first 40s, that'd be in sort of Sunday night to early hours of Monday morning.
Yep.
I think is when we'll be looking at for both of that, for the
Yep.
40-foot mark range, and there's quite a lot of people. Speaking on the docks, there was quite a lot of people who were aiming to be best case for sort of Yeah Baby and Black Diamond would be sort of happy hour-ish Sunday night, probably with most of the fleet arriving Sunday night, early Monday.
So it was quite interesting. As we said, the winner of the race is on IRC. Line honours is where there will be a lot of focus because there's the speed and the fast of the boat. But with IRC, there's a great number of competitors and contenders for that because, you know, the boats are evened out by the rating system.
Yep.
Obviously, this wind and what's going to happen overnight and who gets stuck overnight could be interesting, but there's a lot of wind going to come in the next couple of days, and so will the smaller boats finish with a lot of wind up the tail? Or
You may find that the bigger boats will struggle a little bit because the back of the fleet will end up with a big push as this low pressure system comes through. So it might actually be that some of the slower boats or smaller boats will actually do quite well with that low pressure pushing them up the coast.
Okay, well, where we are, we're set on the Gold Coast. We're sitting, I guess, directly in line with Cavill Avenue. If you know the Gold Coast very well, that's where we're sort of sitting. So we've come back down from the Seaway and all the way down here to Cavill Avenue. So for where all the holiday makers and the people enjoying their holiday here up on the Sunshine Coast are. And so they'll be able to see these boats, such as this boat that's sitting in front of us, which is Antipodes, which is the Santa Cruz 72. Now that boat has just come third on line onwards in the Gold Coast to Mackay last year it was, and it actually came third overall and third on line on us for the Sydney to the Gold Coast race, which has just finished. So that boat is what we would call, it was designed in America for the Transpac to get across to Hawaii.
Yes.
And they are going to be very competitive in this race. They will be challenging Wild Thing, Koa and V5. They'll be right up there in the front runners to get away quite smoothly, I think.
It's a 72-footer designed to go downwind.
Which is exactly the conditions that we're experiencing today. So it will be downwind, and it's only due to increase. So they would be expecting a very nice start to this race.
So from a weather perspective, it's interesting times in that normally here on the Gold Coast, southeast trade winds.
Correct.
We haven't got that. We've got southerly. Sometimes in winter we get the westerly offshores, and that's what we're going to have during the nights.
Correct. Although this sea state is going to pose a little bit of a difficulty. Traditionally with the westerlies we tend to find here on the coast that the water is quite smooth, but this southerly and the low pressure is really making the sea state a little bit lumpy, so some of the crews may struggle with that as well.
Sounds
especially
good.
if they head out too far.
Yep. So as we see the boats come through, we're going to try and cover them. So I think we're going to have just coming into shot.
You can see they're just starting to have their storm sails in.
Yep.
So I think this is part of their starting sequence to make sure that they do have their sufficient reefs in for the Category 2 race that we're in. So
that looks like a boat called Solace. That's a Beneteau 44.7. So that boat was built for the American market, and it's been 10 years of its life over in the Caribbean doing sailing school. So it's been bought and over in Western Australia, and it's now being campaigned by a family, the Pinkus family, and they're out here doing quite a bunch of races. Normally the brothers and sisters. It's all the racing on it together. So I'm hoping that they have an enjoyable time.
I spoke to Paul actually just earlier today as they were getting ready. They've got quite a few doctors on board, so they'll be as safe as houses. But I was warned that they have quite a dangerous spaghetti bowl. Garlic spaghetti bowl to get them to Mackay is what they'll be living on to get there.
Isn't it interesting what people will do for the food and the diets and stuff like that? So
Absolutely, like I said, they were quite confident that they were going to be one of the best fed crews heading north on that.
most of us would be expecting freeze-dried food. You know, like if you've spent a bit of time at sea, you're expecting freeze-dried food, but that is the full meals on board that Beneteau. So.
Absolutely, like I said, that they're prepared to go up. They're using this as a qualifier for their City into Hobart program.
Yep.
So yes, all the best to Solace and to Paul and his crew.
Excellent. All right, so from the perspective of this event, it requires some sponsors. And we've got, as we said, GCCM is our major sponsor, the Gold Coast City Marina precinct. But we also have a range of other sponsors to thank, and it might be this opportune now if we can just have a look at that for you. Okay, we haven't gone to that just yet, but we will. At the moment, just on screen, that looks like Mako to me from the distance. Oh no, that's the Making Waves Foundation vessel.
So this one says Alliance 54. So Wendy Tuck, she's on board this one. She was the first female skipper to win the Round the World race.
That's so pretty cool, huh?
It's pretty epic. She's a lot of sea miles behind her.
Yeah.
A lot of good sea miles.
It is a fantastic thing, and this is a foundation
designed to be accessible. Sometimes sailing isn't that accessible to everybody,
Yeah.
but that they're trying to make it so easy for everyone to get on board and have a go. I mean, it's an amazing sport that we have, and it's sad that we can't get more and more people to participate.
Okay. Next boat looks like another GCCM sponsored boat. This is one of the local boats, and your family had a bit to make sure they're on the line here at the moment. It looks like we're going to cut to Arctic Blonde.
Yeah, so it's great to actually see GCCM Arctic Blonde has made it to the start. They had a few last minute repairs to get their boom vag repaired this morning, so I am very happy to see that they've got their boom vang working. You have to say a few thanks to Sailtech and to Australian Boating Supplies who got them to the start line. They weren't the only boat that had a few last minute repairs, but they are looking very sharp, and this is the start of their northern program as well for LE Beach, Hamilton Island race weeks as well.
Yeah.
So very, very, very sharp boat, that one, little Hick 39. So all the best to Peter Cook and his crew on their endeavours north.
And my good friend Saskia Grunenfeld on that boat, Peter's partner, and I've spent a bit of time. She and I have actually done commentary together, much like you are doing with Daniel.
Excellent.
So, she's a lovely human being.
Another split up. Saskia, she used to double-handed boat Celeste with her partner Maud, who's on
double-handed partner.
Sorry.
Her double-handed partner Maud.
Her double-handed partner on Cyan Moon. So that the two ladies will be racing their way up for a well-deserved hug by the time they get there to Mackay.
So if you're sitting at home and you're looking at the screen, it is quite a short, sharp chop is what's going on out here at the ocean. Like it's been blowing from the south for a little while. It's not, if you can't move around on the boats really smoothly. Like normally when the westerly hits, it'll settle down, but the chop is quite short and sharp. If you're trying to catch it on a boat, it's probably too short, so you're going to get little squirts, but not enough for a large keel boat to sort of get a runner. That will happen later on, but yeah, the opportunity to do running swells is quite low.
It hasn't quite settled in. It's like I said, it's still a little bit disturbed, but that develops swell as it comes up the coast will hopefully enable some of these boats to start surfing probably into tomorrow as they get further north. Yeah,
make a difference. All right, we've got a couple of packages that we would like to introduce, so I'll just keep talking until we do have that, but we will hear from on the boats, but also we've got a sponsors package that we could jump to. So I'll just check on that. So for the entries, we did have a late entry late last night, which was first light. Oh, who we got on board there? That looks like Arctic Blonde still.
Yes.
We did have a late entry come in late last night, which will be a lot of interest for people.
Yes. So it was Elizabeth Tucker on First Light. So she was due to sail with Georgia Express.
That's right.
And I think the hospitality that the Southport Yacht Club put on for the welcome party sort of inspired her to take it on herself. And she will be one of 2 double-handed competitors racing to Mackay.
Pac-Man's the other one.
Pac-Man, that's it.
Yep.
Pac-Man and First Light.
Yeah. So, you know, Zara, as she likes to be called, she did an all women's boat race from the Sydney to the Gold Coast, and now there's just 2 of them doing the double hander on that little open 40 that she's got, which for those who follows new to sailing, the most followed person in sailing is a lass by the name of Cole Brower, and who I know reasonably well. And Cole sold that boat to Zara, and she's now got. Zara's got quite a few followers. She'd have nearly 100,000 followers of her own. So
it's very impressive, and it's great to see her going out there and chasing her dreams. Like it takes a lot of guts to go out and do that, and we're really thrilled to have her back here, doing this race with us.
Yep. Okay. Now, from the favourites' perspective, there's a lot to discuss. The boats like First Light will be interesting, but the next shot, the boat that we're going to bring on screen is a boat called Bacchanal, and Bacchanal is a JPK 1180, and those things, these little boats, this was built down on the south coast of New South Wales. The JPK 1180s are really, really good little rating boats, and they are very hard to beat on the overall performance because they are really well designed, a French design. And this one's quite new. It's a US-owned boat. It belongs in San Francisco, but it hasn't actually made it home to the US yet. It's been here sailing in Australia for the whole time.
Which we have been very fortunate to be able to do. Just looking here, that she came 2nd overall in the Sydney Gold Coast.
Copy.
So on her way up, she's performed exceptionally well. She will be one to watch as one of the international entries, including from Antipodes from New Zealand. So she's could be one of the silent assessors that will come through to us quite quickly.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. That is one definitely to watch. Now we're going to cross over onto Arctic Blonde. We've got Jasmine Ruck, who's done some of the lead-up interviews for us, and she's about to head north to Mackay. All rugged up there. Jasmine, how are you feeling?
Feeling stoked for today's race to go into this weekend. Vibes are high on board on Arctic Blondes. We're all just sitting out, having a bit of a rest, getting ready for the race, watching some whales go by, and talking about our game plan going forward for the rest of the afternoon into the evening.
Okay, so obviously there was a little bit you had to go through to get ready, a little bit of a late thing with the boom bang obviously, but what is the game plan? So you've been able to settle down, you're out there. What are your thoughts? Do you want to talk your strategy at all?
Obviously on Arctic Blonde we like to keep it nice and tidy, safe sailing, working the boat as hard as we possibly can, but also keeping the crew safe, keeping that boat safe to get us up there for the Northern campaign. We obviously want to keep the boat good for Airlie Beach race week, Hamilton Island race week, and to get it back home again at the end of August.
Yeah, nicely dodged. I feel like you could have told me some of your tactics, but you didn't. You did. No. You did very cleverly.
Jordan, we've got to keep our tactics at bay. We've got half an hour till racing, and we don't want to give them all away. We don't want to give anything away to the rest of the competitors. I've got the boss looking at me here, and he's saying, "Don't give him up."
Okay, well, just tell Pete it's Jordan, and he does what to do what he's told. Okay, so what I do want to check, obviously, your boat downwind at the moment. When the wind comes up, that thing gets pretty wet. Are you worried about getting wet?
I am a little bit worried about getting wet. I have got brand new gear for this race. I'm feeling pretty warm at the moment, feeling pretty dry at the moment too. So really we'll see how this gear tests out when we get out there. Where we've got a couple of waves crashing over the bow. Okay.
Well, we wish you luck. We hope you have the best time. Obviously, going sailing to the north and get to do all those events, going to Mackay, it's just going to be an absolute dream. I bet you're in a very happy place right now, Jasmine.
I'm in a very happy place. Anytime out on the water, I'm my happiest. So I'm really looking forward to the next couple of days out here.
Excellent. Well, stay safe and thank you for taking time to chat to us.
No worries. Thank you, Jordan.
Bye.
Bye.
We can just see on our screen there, Wild Thing has obviously made their way out of the seaway there, and they are line honour favourites for this year's race. I was speaking to them yesterday, and Grant, Theo and all the children on board are expecting about a 35-hour race time into Mackay. So they'll be definitely one of the quickest ones to arrive. They are surviving on ham and cheese toasties this morning, so hopefully Kylie, their kit manager, has got them looking very sharp, and they'll have their ham and cheese toasties all the way for the next couple of days. Looks like we've got Cyan Moon in shot there. The blue boat, Cyan obviously being a blue boat, so does that mean it's Blue Moon, Cyan Moon? I think, as I said, nice blue moon. We hopefully, I don't know if we'll get a blue moon tonight with all this cloud cover, but Cyan Moon is okay. So the Cyan Moon, that is Beneteau Oceanus 47, so more set up for the cruising sort of stuff, but we'll be racing in PHS, and we'll be looking to try and achieve the best possible results. It's regularly raced by the Seaward family, and this is the second time doing this event. It is, and they finished third last year. So they were looking, when I spoke to them this morning, they're looking to improve on their result last year. Okay, there you go. The boats are starting to assemble. We're just over 25 minutes until we get underway with the start. What you'll see is some of the boats just have bright orange sails or nearly fully reefed mainsails up and small jibs. That's part of the safety process that they've got to go through, where they have to show that they've got storm sails and storm equipment. That's basically what's going on, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah, everyone needs to be able to, in the case that the weather does turn quite foul, everyone needs to be able to reduce their sail area to make sure that all the crews stay safe. Yeah. Now, obviously, if we can talk about the weather a little bit, one of the things that we need to understand is that we've got this southerly blowing, but just as this race starts, basically, we're in a high pressure system here that's spanning across Australia. But as the race starts, there's a low is going to start forming literally right where we are. Yeah. And by evening tonight, off Moreton Island and all the way up to the Sunshine Coast and down here, it should be just about zero wind. It could drop down to, for a little while, it could drop down to nothing. It could be from all sorts of directions. It could be quite variable, and we just don't quite know how fast that's going to form that low. So it could be a very tactical thing. Do you stay in right in close, or do some of the boats take a little bit further out to try and pick up a little bit of breeze? It's going to be really interesting to see which way they go until we get that next pressure system come starting to form late tomorrow. So there will actually be two sort of low pressure systems. This little one will disappear, and then another deeper one will form, and as you say, tomorrow, and late Sunday it's going to be thumping winds up the coast. But this transition tonight, the trick to the race is to, it sounds sort of simple, is to get north as fast as possible at the moment. That's the strategy. But the issue is around this weather is that not only is this wind sort of going to lighten out, the east coast current that runs down the coast is right alongside the shore, and it's thumping through at the moment. So as you come from Moreton Island, or actually all the way up to Kagari. Sandy Cape, yes, correct. Yeah, right at the top of Sandy Cape there at that breaksea spit. It's round about, from last I heard, it was about 1.5 knots going south. So you certainly don't want to be stuck too far out and getting caught in that if you can help it, especially with those potentially light and variable breeze patterns or holes coming out. You don't want to get stuck in a hole too soon.
And so the strategy then becomes, where do you position your boat? So in the Sydney to Gold Coast, we saw the boats go out to sea to avoid that. But where it probably, when you look at the weather routing, that which I've been able to see, going out to sea probably only just suits the 100. Most of the other boats will probably want to stay close. And so from a spectator perspective, if you're up the coast, you're going to see quite a few boats scooting along the coast, particularly up almost all the way up to
the Sunshine Coast. You'd actually see them, probably from here, from the Gold Coast down like Surfers Paradise. You should be able to see all of these boats, and being a downwind start, you'll see some beautiful coloured spinnakers, asymmetricals and symmetrical kites, and they'll probably stay quite close to the coast, try and stay out of that current, and also try and have a little less of the ocean state, which they can get a little bit protected from.
Yeah, so that strategy is the thing that's consuming everybody's mind at the moment. So all the racers are starting to think about that. The other thing that will be of strategy, and we'll talk to Hayden about this, is the positioning on the start line. We're just over 20 minutes out from a start, and where to put the boat on the start line. You know, like in an ocean race, the saying is you can't win an ocean race on a start line, but you certainly can lose it.
Exactly right. Right. All these boats will be looking for clean air. They don't want to get stuck behind anyone as best they can. So that we'll need to try and find clean air, get away. They'll likely be on one tack for most of the way up the coast. So they'll be. They'll want to find some clean space away from everyone. Is the best game.
All right, so what we'll do now is we'll probably see Wild Thing come on the shot as we look. That's the 100. We'll just throw down to Hayden, who is actually along the start line. And Hayden, if you can hear me, my friend, just talk about where the layout of the line is, and being a downwind start, what you'd think strategically would be the right play, and what we should expect to see.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. So yeah, we're just checking out Wild Thing 100 at the moment, running the line. For the start line at the moment, I think the breeze has actually dropped off a bit in the past 10 minutes, so that'll be interesting to see how we go towards actual start time. But with the way the line's set at the moment, I'd be aiming to probably start round near the boat. Even though it puts you a bit further offshore, it just gives you a slightly better run if you're running that symmetrical kite all the way down past the Stradbroke and Moreton Islands. So you want to try and make sure you can lay that with the kite up, and that's probably my pick. Running the asymmetric, you're probably just trying to stay away from everybody else. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting line, and we'll see how everyone's going to go setting up. But it's cool seeing a lot of sail selection at the moment, largely full mains on all the teams. So it'll sort of an indication that the breeze is backing off. But we've got a GCCM Arctic Blonde coming back past us here.
Just repeat that.
Right about now, it's going to come across. So yeah, the start line's definitely going to be interesting, and a little bit further offshore is probably where I'd be setting up at the moment.
Okay.
Jordan, back to you.
Oh, thanks, Hayden, the throw. Appreciate that so much, my friend. It does look like it'll be challenging as well. Obviously, a downwind start line is a difficult start line because there's the leeward boat. As Hayden said, you want to start up near the boat end, which is further out to sea. But windward boat must keep clear of leeward boat in our sailing rules when you're on the same tack. That means that those boats that are starting closer to shore, if we're on starboard, where most people will start, we'll be able to luff the other boats away from the start line.
Push them all, but we'll be able to push them up. That's exactly right. Depending on how fast you can get, ideally you want to approach that start line with as much pace as you can, and be straight out the gate and try and get those kites up as soon as possible, just to make sure you've got a bit of space, and everyone should be quite an impressive start watching those kites come up as we count us down towards the start of the race.
Yeah. It's a real challenge, and it's going to be quite interesting. Looking on screen there, that looks like Zara's boat, Elizabeth Tucker's boat, First Light. She's got her storm jib up, just showing the race committee. Now this is a boat designed to go downwind. Like it's a little rocket ship. This thing will go a lot quicker than people realise.
She'll be very excited with today's forecast of 10 to 15 southerly southwesterlies. So she'll be very happy. Quite a wide beam across the bum. Like I said, she'll probably take off faster than a lot of people will be expecting.
So it's a big planing dish. It's like a skimming stone, used to
yes,
skip across the water.
Exactly right. So like I said, the bigger the base you've got, the faster you'll go.
But of course, in the really light winds, there's a lot of drag associated with that. So that's the joy of designing boats.
She may hopefully she won't find any holes up close near Sandy Cape. Hopes she'll get past all of that quite quickly, and she'll just take off. It'll be fantastic to see, and well done. She's doing it double-handed too.
Yeah, I asked Hayden what boat he'd like to head north on. Which boat?
Throw to the sponsors.
Which boat? We'll talk about that in a sec. But I think. We do have an important thing to do, and that is to recognise all the sponsors that are involved in this event, so we'll give them a chance to gain some recognition.
Hey everyone, I'm standing here with the COO of Gold Coast City Marina, Andrew Chapman. Andrew, how do you feel about this great regatta that's coming up and about having 28 boats here in the fleet?
Oh, look, we're really excited. We love our relationship here with the Yacht Club, and to have 28 boats, building on from what we did in the inaugural race last year, it's really exciting. The weather looks good, the club looks good, such a great vibe. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to race this year.
You are?
I jumped off last year, but this year I'm going to...
You're going to stay on the boat this time?
I'm going to stay on the boat this time and get right through to Mackay.
And I heard you're sailing with Wild Thing 100, Grant Warrington's boat?
Yes, yeah, looking forward to being on board with Warrow.
It should be a very, very quick trip for you guys.
Well, we hope so. I mean, the weather looks great, and but you never know. That's offshore racing. You never know what happens.
It's a gamble with it all, isn't it?
It's the gamble, yeah. But looking forward to it, and it's just great to have so many boats moving on from the race that's just arrived here in the Gold Coast from Sydney, and moving on up to Mackay, and then all the action, of course, is up in the Whitsundays for the rest of the month. Let's face it, it's way too cold to be south at the moment. It's the only place to be. You've got to leave from Southport on Friday and head north.
Get up there, get to the warmer waters.
Exactly.
I'll see you up there.
Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. We're back. We're 14 and a half minutes till we get underway with the start. We've got boats all starting to get ready. We got them flashing behind us. I can see V5 just went behind our commentary boat, the New Zealand TP52. Sail number NZL 55555.
That's the boat. You asked me before which one I'd go on. I think I'd be very interested to watch how V5 perform in this race. Like I said, there's a part Kiwi, part Melbourne crew member on the crews on that one. They were fourth over the line in the recent Sydney to Gold Coast, and they're expecting about 48 hours to Mackay. So that would definitely be a boat to watch for me.
So 52 foot long. The next boat coming into shop, I believe, the next boat coming to shop is a 55 footer. It's a boat called Yendes, which is based up here now. We're still on V5, I think, but Yendes now just in shot there. The skipper on that boat is Bruce Trado, who's just done so much racing off this Queensland coast.
It's incredible. He knows his part of the world better than most people.
It's so true. So this boat had a sort of not a great start to its life, a couple of dismastings early on, but it's had a big restoration, and it's now decided to be part of the Gold Coast to Mackay Yacht Race.
This is their first time here, so this is their first race. So yes, after those big changes, we wish them all the best.
Yeah, it's good history, a good name, famous name. The Yendes name has won the Sydney Hobart in the past, and yeah, looks like our next boat in shot is Mayfair. That's going to be coming up. Mayfair. This is Wildfin's the big one in shot at the moment, but we're about to come on to a little boat called Wayfair. So if we look at Wildthing, that's the big one on the left. You can see the size of a 100-footer. Now that was an 80-footer, the old Beau Geste, and then it's become the 100-footer, and then the Mayfair coming into shot, which was right next to it, which is a Little Rogers 46.
And I have to say, these guys are another one of my favourites. These guys, when on my dock walk, they reckoned that they were going to have the most fun of everybody in the entire fleet. Last year they unfortunately come off a wave and didn't do so well. They broke their pulpit, and so they didn't finish last year's race. So they'll be looking for a much better results this year. With and they're sitting with beef stroganoff. So there's another boat that I wouldn't mind joining for dinner tonight.
Good on you. You've done the full assessment of what people are eating. I love that. I do love that. Yeah, that boat's been, I think it was built 2006. So for those who know the famous Yeoman's run of boats that were built in the UK, this is, I think, Yeoman's 26 or 27 going off memory in the old days, but now obviously racing here in Australia, so as under the ownership or stewardship of Mark Carter. So yeah, it does look like it's settled down a little bit, Danielle. Like the weather does look to have calmed down. Hayden called it out there. There's a few little gusts that are just going across the water, but at the moment, a little bit of chop still, but the pressure down slightly.
I would totally agree with you. Like I said, we're probably, there's not quite as many sort of white caps out there. We're back probably closer to that 10 to 12 knots. We're not quite seeing as much wind as what we were earlier this morning.
So as we said with the weather, it's a really strange one, and when it does go, it can go to the west. So it can sort of, that's where we think it will go. But if you go out to sea, it'll be a lot of east out there. And so there's that sort of transition zone in the middle which the boats have to go through. And the interesting thing about this race is the first turning mark after this start line is Breakwater Spit at the top of Kagari.
Correct, yes. It's quite a long way. And I'm not sure too many skippers have considered this one, but it would be entirely possible to go back into the seaway and up through the inside of Cape Morton. And Stradbroke Islands. You could go back inside Seaway and sail that way.
So for those who are not from the Gold Coast, you can actually come from Brisbane all the way down inside a whole bunch of islands, and it's, you know, you'll see small powerboats do that run up there, or small trailer sailors, and you can go all the way to the Gold Coast or up to Brisbane by not being in the ocean. You're actually
stick on the inside all the way up past Brisbane River, up past Tangalooma, and pop out north of Brisbane in the Sunshine Coast there.
Or you could even just cut in between North Straddie and Moreton Island, and then run along Tangalooma and up the channel and out that way, and you would avoid the current there if you did that.
Correct, and you'd have flat water.
Flat water, yeah.
Which should be fast. So there's quite a lot of options for the navigators on board.
It's absolutely surreal. The big boat in shot is obviously the Wild Thing 100, and I'm not sure where they're going to go. So the race record, as we said, is 1:11. I've seen their weather outing. At the moment, they're predicting 1 day, 10 hours. So they actually could break the record. Even with the light wind. Their strategy is to go north as fast as possible, and they haven't made a decision, from what I haven't been told. No one's giving me strategies yet, whether they will pop out to sea. Because if you do pop out to sea, you don't come back in and all the way until you get past Kagari.
Correct.
Fraser Island, as it used to be referred to. So
it's great to see how Wild Thing there and some of the smaller boats there. You can see, especially on the start, if you do not want to be in the wind shadow of Wild Thing, they will take off quite quickly. Yep. But you don't want to be anywhere in their wind shadow.
Now, there's one boat out there called Hutchie's Yeah Baby that I've always wanted to ask. Is that boat named after you, Danielle?
I wish it was. I really should have spoken to Andy about this. I really wish it was. No, that's Hutchison Builders sponsor Yeah Baby. Another local boat from the Southport Yacht Club.
It's on screen. How's that?
Oh, look, here we go.
It's right on it.
Right on time. Andy, unfortunately, last year he wasn't on board, but they suffered. They were dismasted last year.
Yes.
So it's great to have them back. And Andy, the owner and skipper, has recovered from open heart surgery. So he's excited to be back and participating this year, when he wasn't able to last year. So he's a good character, Andy, and like I said, all the best to him and his crew on heading north. It's great to see him back on the water after a bit of a tough year for him.
I see Barry Schoenberg's on there. I reckon I've done a few sea miles with that boy. So they will have. It's an interesting story of this boat, of course, is that it was originally a Heaven Can Wait, and then the hull and deck, they replaced the hull, and it went from a 40-something footer to a 50-footer. It was the most major surgery, and then quite well-known Rod Jones, a local sailor Rod Jones, took it and tarted it up, let's say, and so she's got some potential, but yeah, dropping a rig is never good, so we wish them the best.
She was down to go back to Yeah Baby. She did do Hobart, so she's got a few Hobart campaigns, going out to Ellie and Hamilton again. I used to sail with Braden, their bowman, so back in the day. So yeah, all the best to Andy and Yeah Baby.
Okay, so we're just out from 5 minutes. It's 6 and a bit minutes to go to the start. What will happen? At 5 minutes, a warning signal will go up, and 4 minutes, a preparatory signal will go up.
Yep.
At 1 minute, that preparatory signal flag will come down, and then 0, the warning flag will come down. So, there's two methods for communication out here for the boats. One is sound. They'll make a gun sound, or a horn, but it's the visual signal of the flags that everyone times off. So,
correct. Yeah.
So that's our start sequence: a 5 minute, a 4 minute signal, a 1 minute signal.
There's our start boat. You can see there they should have the orange flag. You can just see that on the screen there.
Yep.
So that'll be the start boat, and they'll be keeping an eye out for anyone who is early, and will need to go back around.
So from what you're saying there, Danielle, we need to emphasise that being early, when you start a race, you have to be behind the start line, but you can be going full speed. You're not stopped. In a sailing boat, you can hit that start line at full speed, and that's one of the great skills. But if you are over that line, you have to serve a penalty. Sometimes it's around the line, sometimes you can just drop back, sometimes you have to take a few hours penalty. The sailing instructions tell you. But with a downwind start, it's a big cost. Whatever you do, if you go over that line early, it's a big punishment.
It's absolutely, you don't want to be there early, and it's much more difficult to slow your boat down. With an upwind start, you've got some space and you've got some skills that you can turn away from the breeze and luff your boat up in an upwind start. Today, with our downwind start, it's going to be very difficult for all the skippers to get their boats in the right place and manage that time and distance from the start line to 1 minute beforehand. Ideally, they want to be hitting that start line at maximum pace to get the best start, but that's an exceptionally tricky job to do for the navigators and skippers.
Yeah. So on the start, you're going to easily see Wild Thing 100 because that's such a dominant size boat, and it's got its new rig in as well. You'll see Antipodes, which is a 72 footer. Then you'll see all the TP 52s.
Correct.
And Yandis, which is a 55. They're the sort of boats that you'll be able to spot quite clearly.
Yep.
And they'll start to clear away. And then we drop down to the 40s, and even we've got two Sunfast 3300s, which are 33 foot boats, French design by my friend Guillaume Verdier, who's a lovely man, and they will love downwind sailing. The French set their boats up for that, so the smaller boats at the back will be those little 33, and there's two of those.
Yes.
Very rare you see in keelboat racing where you get to race one design, and with the 3300s you absolutely will.
We can come straight back to this one, little Expertesse on screen there by Russell Burst, another SYC boat. This is his first Gold Coast to Mackay race. So Russell's been sailing quite a lot here offshore locally, but it's probably one of his first longer distance races. So yeah, wishing him all the best as well. But back to what you were saying about the little Sunfasts, I have to say, when I went around to see them today, they'll be match racing because they are the same boat, which will be very, very interesting to see which tacks they do. They are smaller, so I suspect they will stick closer inshore. The Ignition boys, there was 4 of them when I spoke to them, and they must have been the most relaxed crew this morning.
Yeah.
They'd had their beers and they were they were very relaxed. And then Sunfast actually has another crew member who works up at Gold Coast City Marina, so a leading sponsor at Black Pond. So both those boats are very well prepared, and they'll be very interesting to see about who manages to get away quickly in that scenario.
So if we look on screen now, you can see the committee boat up at the bottom of screen. And then at the other end of the screen, the top right of your screen, you'll just see the old sand dredge disappearing behind. There's a yellow mark up there where there's a boat down that end. That's the line that the boats need to stay behind, a sight line off the mast on the committee boat down to that yellow buoy, which is pretty much in line with Cavill Avenue. So all the people who are having big nights rolling out, they'll be here to watch.
Open your blinds because you're about to see an incredible start to the Gold Coast City Marina.
So first light just coming into the top there of the committee boat. 1.5 minutes, the tension's starting to really wind up on board at the moment. We will cross to Hayden just after this start, but you will, if you're on board right now, that strategy of where to position to make sure you're on the line, how far you are from the line, what the technique have done is a timed run will probably be the most likely approach.
I think that's what they'll ideally want to have. They'll also have their kites potentially on deck ready to go, because as soon as they get a bit of space they'll send that. They'll all try to make sure that they are 50 seconds from the start. It's going to start getting rather exciting here shortly.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how accurate the clock is. I think we're pretty accurate, but remember, we go off the flag if we can see them on the committee boat. It looks like Antipodes coming in from the pin end there, so they're reaching up the line towards the committee boat. There's the yellow mark, and so that's looking from on shore, and then we're back up here on the committee boat. Most of the boats down near the pin end is what we call it. That means they'll run up the line as the counts down and turn down, and all the spinnakers will drop. That looks like first light coming in, I reckon.
From the boat, and now we've got 10 seconds left till we start.
It's going to be tight. There's boats just running along the line, and as soon as the gun goes, they'll turn down and spinnakers will start popping, and we reckon the gun has gone. There it is. You saw the flag of smoke, and wow, you can see Wild Thing starting to unfurl that
spinnaker.
That big spinnaker. There's a couple of boats that have completely missed the start. They've got a code 0 coming out.
That first light's got their kite out as well.
And look at that thing accelerate straight away. Boom, straight to noise. Some of the other boats not as quick because they got deeper shaped sails.
Wild Thing with her asymmetrical sails is just taken off. So she timed that very well. And they'll be very happy on their way up to Mackay. Clean air, and off they go.
Wow, look at that. So from the routing that we've seen, as we said, we expected it to be about, wow, it looks amazing. We're just looking at the back of where we are and we can see the Wild Thing. She's just off and going. You would expect about a day and 9 hours for that boat. Our 40 footers would be around 2 days, 17 hours is what we're sort of forecasting. But it's all spinnakers all the way, maybe some tight reaching. A couple of the 52s with their big spinnakers chasing hard. And
Black Diamonds, another local boat from here. They look like they're just behind Antipodes. It's fantastic to see. There's blue and red kites out.
It's one of the great things, Danielle. Like it's still like a winter's day, but look at the conditions. Like it's a winter's day.
They do say that in Queensland, perfect one day. Great one day, perfect the next.
Yeah,
and as the afternoon progresses, the sun's burning off the cloud, so it's a great afternoon for a sail.
So obviously, the decision here, we talked all about this current that's running down the coast, and the boats with the asymmetrical sails are heading out to sea. They don't have any choice. But I wonder how early we'll see a jibe from some of these boats, and whether that jibe will be an indication of they're going to stay out of the current. The only boat I think might continue out to sea is Wild Thing, but again, that's a really risky manoeuvre.
I think I'd rather be on a symmetrical boat. If I had my choice, I think I'd rather stay with a symmetrical kite boat. Although they are heading straight out. There's quite a few of them that have decided to stick.
The big 72-footer Antipodes is at the bottom of screen as we look down there at the moment, and that thing's starting to wind up. We told you that thing's designed to go downhill, and she's at the opposite end of the line, and she's starting to light her little tail up. She's going. Bradshaw Kellett, I think, is doing the navigation on that boat. He's won the Sydney Hobart in the past, so he'll be quite comfortable making those decisions. And again, we're bouncing between the Wild Thing and so our two largest boats. We'll probably focus on them a little bit at the start, simply because once they get out of range, our drones will have to come back. So we'll play that game a little bit. But you can see how the fleet is spread, and it does look like it's lightening out a bit, doesn't it?
Correct, yes. Like I said, you can see that, like I said, it's lightening out a bit. They need to get those kites up and make as much ground now as they can before things do go variable this afternoon.
What we might do, Danielle, is we've got Hayden on the water there, and he'll have a different perspective to us. So when I see him be ready, we'll throw across to him and just try and get his information. We are actually out on the water ourselves on a lovely large boat that's got large powerful engines, and I hope that's not coming too loudly through the race coverage for our viewers. And that looks like we've moved off from Antipodes. That's the Yendes, I think, on screen at the moment. If I had to guess, I think that would be Yendes. And she's the 55-footer. I told you she'd be one of the ones that you'd see smoking down and along. Okay, now hopefully Hayden, have you got us there, buddy?
Yeah, I got you. Sorry, it's a little bit rough down on the camera cat. It's a little bit bumpy, as we said earlier. But we're just coming across the fleet now. We've got Trouble and Strife to windward. They've got a nice new blue kite by the looks of it. Got just Ignition behind them, and behind us is Making Waves Foundation and boat. So it's all on for the start, the Savo, and it should be a really fun run for them down the coast. So if you want to pan around, we'll just have a look up behind us here. And yeah, here we got Trouble and Strife, Ignition behind with the red kite, Georgia Express with the white, and they're all ripping along after some pretty good starts. So cracking wave action and breeze to just push them along and get them ripping.
Get them ripping. Hey Hayden, the Ignition's the little Sunfast 3300, which you've done some time on, so they've had a pretty good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a little bit of time on 3300 back in Brisbane a few years ago, and like they've just got a massive masthead kite, which is just going to suit these conditions. It's a big asymmetric, as you can see, with the full main, and they're not going to be obviously the fastest boat out here, but they're going to have a pretty good run down the coast.
And that blue kite, obviously Trouble and Strife, that's a Cookson 12. They're
Absolutely. The team on board are a great bunch. They've been working on a few sort of younger crew members on board. They've got Erin Crowley and Callum Benaki. They're two sort of younger members of the sailing community who are just sort of out of school for a few years and given the offshore sailing scene a good old go. So it's really cool to see them out there. I sort of grew up sailing with those sailors, and I hope they have a ripper run down the coast. Yeah, so just a little bit there. They're on Malpese with Ocean Training. I think it's 27 Ocean Training. I'll have to 27 South Ocean Training. So Mel Peasy helps the crew get trained up, and then a heap of people in southeast Queensland. So my younger sister did the course recently as well, with a whole other bunch of young sailors from around the area in Royal Queensland, Southport and Mooloolaba. And yeah, they're giving it a good hard go. So I think we've lost Jordan and the other commentators, but the colour we're watching come down the coast at the moment is just fantastic, and the backdrop behind us, which you can't see, the Gold Coast City, is just incredible. We've got a few symmetrical kites heading down. They're obviously a little bit slower than our asymmetric runners, but it's interesting to see the two Sunfasts out here, the two 3300s, have actually gone for different setups. So one 3300 is flying asymmetric, the other symmetric. So looks like Sunfish have gone with the symmetrical kite, and Ignition's gone for the asymmetric. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare up later tonight. And it just looks like Ignition's just struggling to get through first light's wind shadow there. Have we got Jordan? Yeah, I got you there, Jordan. Yeah, absolutely. I've been lucky enough to spend some time with Stacey around Manly, and yeah, Stacey along with Mel running their business is just crushing it. They've also got Naughty Bags. Check them out. It's a cool little thing they've got going, and yeah, Stacey over at the Admiral's Cup is just so cool to see. Like for the women sailors, and of course all sailors, but for the young girls coming through the sport, it's just incredible to see Stacey achieving so much and giving it a good hard go. Yep, I gotcha. Yep. What was that? Sorry, Jordan, I missed that. Oh, yep. Yeah, right on the other side of the course from me.
Only your life. Keep talking.
Okay, so I think we're missing you still, Jordan, so I'll keep chatting away. But yeah, we've got a broach happening up in the background behind first light, like way up the back. We might just try and slow down a little bit here, and we'll see if we can get a glimpse of them right up the back. But we've got first light still trying to set their kite, and then a few of the other slow boats up the back there. Got the Ocean Expeditions boat. They've opted for just sort of like a code, not quite a code 0, more of a Jenica, just a bit smaller. No soft sails for their downwind run. We've got a bit more out to sea with the blue kite, some white logos on it. I believe that's Gold Coast City Marina Arctic Blonde. They look like they're having a good run out to sea a bit further in some clear air. In the mix of the white kites, we've got a bit of a boring colour selection in white kites, but we've got Mako in there, and who else we got? Trying to have a look, but we've got one boat in there that's triple-headed, which is pretty cool to see. And is that possibly Hutchies in that lead boat with the white kite? Oh no, that's Pac-Man. So Pac-Man out here, yeah, short-handed out here racing. They've still got a bit of jib out, or a bit of a downwind jib going with the kite, so double-handed and got the symmetrical kite. So
Okay, well, I think you've done an amazing job there, my friend, just going right through the fleet. We were back right next to Arwen as that was going off, which was the Open 60, which should also go downwind very, very quickly, but they haven't chosen to put a kite up yet. It's a sort of vessel for, I guess, some of the people to come and try and do a bit of sailing, so that's what we're looking at. First Light's just dropped its kite, and they're coming hard up. They've got a little bit of a wrap, I reckon, around the forestay. So even though there's light wind, the double-handers, obviously, it's difficult. And First Light just trying to resolve a little issue as we're alongside them at the moment. A few boats are being overpowered and broaching, and which is quite surprising, Danielle. I don't know. This should be pretty comfortable conditions for most boats.
It is. They're very favourable conditions. All these boats would be loving this downwind.
Just
you
like
spend half your life
we'll get closer to these smaller boats that are bunched together. So
you spend half your life trying to find conditions like this, where it's a nice sunny day with a downwind run. Hopefully, First Light can sort that wrap out quite quickly. Be great.
We've got an interesting one with Solus just there, and just near us, which is the Beneteau 44.7. They've got quite a wrap going on their sails. It's quite square, the wind. They've got asymmetrical sails up and a little. For First Light, I think they're going to take quite a while to rectify what that issue is on their boat. But they're very calm. I think that's fine. So I don't think they're too worried. But Solus not having the best of time at the moment. Most of the boats looking pretty good. Everyone heading out on starboard. Hey, Hayden, if you can hear me, I wonder if you can see if any of the boats are running quite square. I know Bacchanal may, with the JPK 1180s, they do often run dead downwind with the kite gull wing to the other side.
Hanging to the rum line and shooting for the point of Stratty and Morton. So we're just ripping down through the fleet at the moment, so apologies if it's a bit noisy, but yeah, we're just catching back up to Pac-Man here. And we've also got, who else above us? We've got a few. But yeah, it's pretty busy and bumpy on the water here, the Savo, which is making for some good action.
Yeah, well, that's the great joy of going sailing, of course. And Pac-Man, you mentioned, is a young 11. So a young 11 is a designer, New Zealand designer, and that boat had done many miles, but it had a major overhaul in 2022. I think they put a new mast in it, new appendages, so new keel and rudder. So that boat is looking to do very, very well, and it's the double-hander class.
It's always harder when you take on a race like this, and just you're doing it short-handed with just the two of you. I think they're really going to do quite well, and these conditions will be easy for them to sail with.
It does have Peter Kavanagh on board, and from memory, Pete has won offshore sailor for Queensland at least twice.
Yes, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of sea miles and a lot of experience there, so he'll be loving these conditions, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Straight up the coast with the breeze behind you. If they can get that boat going, they'll give First Light a big run for their money.
It is very cool. Like where we're looking, like we're zooming along the coast with these guys. We've got spinnakers out, we've got boats sailing along, we've got the Gold Coast skyline behind, we've got beautiful weather. It is actually quite picturesque, like if you were in the southern states or you're over somewhere else in the world, you would be a little bit jealous of what we've got going on.
And there's quite a lot of people that have flown from New Zealand, Adelaide, Tasmania, Melbourne. There's quite a lot of boats that we have in, quite a lot of crew that have flown in specifically for this race. I noticed, even though it's quite chilly for a Queenslander today, there's a lot of people walking around in shorts and t-shirts and really enjoying the Queensland weather compared to the southern states or where they're used to.
Well, we've got, as you say, we've got boats from New Zealand, we've got boats from Hong Kong, we've got boats from the US. There's a couple of South Australian boats out sailing. Victorian boats, New South Wales boats, West Australian boats.
don't think we've got some Western Australia, but we've got boats have come down from Brisbane. So a lot of people have come to do this Sydney to Hobart qualifier race. And it's really great to see everyone. The Southport Yacht Club's hospitality has really paid off.
So on screen at the moment, sail number 110 is Pac-Man, the 12 metre. The young 11 racing double-handed, and you can see the two sailors just there on the boat. And you said they'd be enjoying themselves, and there's a big smile and a wave. They look very comfortable.
Very comfy, and if that's the way you want to go sailing, I think they've got their big symmetrical kite up, so they'll be.
Nat, you've had a team and you were campaigning your own boat for a long time, a Beneteau First 40. How would you, there are a couple of firsts in the fleet, do they prefer the downwind or the upwind?
Oh no, we do love the downwind. I think everyone loves a downwind sail. It's we'd have a. Oh, here comes Mako. We would have our symmetrical kite up. We'd be staying inshore, I think, and this would be the sort of moments you'd be saying, take these moments while we still can, and while the weather is so good for us.
And you do love, I have spent some miles with you at sea, and you do love being on the wheel and having a big grin on your face and enjoying that. On screen we've got is a Sydney 40, a boat called Mako, which is done a few miles. It's got a famous history actually, the old Mako, because if I remember, that was actually part of the Admiral's Cup team with the Dutch.
Correct, yes, yeah, that is right. I said they've
back in 1999, and they won the cup.
Yes, there you go. I said we've got some really famous boats around us at the moment.
And if you've ever done some much of these miles, the Dutch are fantastic sailors and great fun to hang out with. But yeah, so a Sydney 40, it was built specifically for that. It had the 80th Sydney Hobart. Are we up to 80 Sydney Hobart?
80. We're up to 80 already. It's amazing how the time totally disappears. When I spoke to Mako this morning, they're looking into Mackay about Monday morning. So they're surviving on sweet and sour worms and floor meat, from what they tell me. There's quite a funny crew. These guys here, floor meat, aka salami. So they've got a quite a fun bunch on board today for Mako.
Beautiful. I certainly think that they look pretty comfortable going through the water then when we're just along there, and that design does suit the downwind stuff as well. The Sydney 40s are not too bad for that. A little bit of an older design now, but that doesn't necessarily matter because that gets corrected out with the rating system. But yeah, they don't mind the downwind stuff. One thing I'm interested is, we talked about it before the start, sailing downwind in the big swell is really rewarding because you can ride the swell, but in the short choppy stuff you can bury the bow into some of these waves and it unloads your rudder and makes it difficult to steer. So if you're running downwind, you could actually lose the boat, and we have seen one or two broaches already.
Correct. You can. The boat can sort of sit up on it, and we spoke before about Mayfair. Mayfair actually last year stuck their nose into a wave and broke their pulpit. So it's as much fun as it can be if you don't have good control and those trimmers are not paying attention. Someone's on the vang. You can quite easily round up, and it can get out of control. There's a lot of experience on these boats, but it does only take one lapse in concentration, and you can get yourself into a bundle of strife.
I think that's Cyan Moon on screen. That looks like it to me. Beneteau 47. It's got the big kite out there. They've gone a long way out to sea, and you can see there is a little bit of sea rolling. It gives you some sort of idea, and you can see by the kite moving around. So masthead spinnaker. That's the Seawood family's boat. This is where Maud, Saskia's double-handed
partner
is on this boat now.
Yes. There's 2 female watch captains for this boat, both Maud and Louise. So they'll be doing the watch captain on this one, and I think Maud will be keeping quite a close eye on Arctic Blonde to find out where Saskia is and how they're progressing. But they're looking really good there.
Louise Cotter. Oh, we just as you said, they look good. They're shaking the kite there.
Collapse.
Commentators curse. What are you doing, Daniel? You're straight into it.
I said they were looking so good. Nice but well balanced with this sunny state.
Captain, explain what watch captain means for those who don't know.
A watch captain with two teams, because these boats will be sailing throughout the night for the rest of tonight and sort of for up to the next couple of days. The watch captain looks after each watch. So when the skipper's having a break, having a rest, you'll have your watch captain and their team, and they'll be responsible for sailing the boat. Then they will hand it over to the team that's having a rest before they swap backwards and forwards. So you need to have those people in place because you can't stay up for 3 or 4 days. These crews will need to somehow manage, going to the bathroom and getting their meals in, constantly navigating, making sure they know where they are, and then checking in with the race committee as per the sailing instructions. There's quite a lot on board that these teams will have to manage. Not a lot of them will get showers or any of the creature comforts that we're going to go home to tonight. It will be a bit of a long night and it can get cold, and the watch captains need to look after their crews to get the best performance. A few comments got made about making line honours, so a lot of the crews will be pushing quite hard over the next couple of days to get to Mackay as quickly as possible.
So excellent breakdown there to talk about what life is like on board. You did mention that it could be quite cold. Now this is Queensland, it never gets cold, but what it does, when a westerly blows, westerlies are cold here, and it's a different world up here when a westerly blows, and we're expecting some quite strong westerlies late and early morning tomorrow morning, so late tonight, early tomorrow morning. The first sign of some really strong westerlies as they sort of get up and maybe get past the top of Kagari. That will be a shock for some of these people. They've come all the way up to beautiful Queensland for our gorgeous weather, and then they're going to actually feel a little blast. There's a couple of, looking at the weather models, there's probably a couple of little hits of westerly wind come charging through during the night. So it could go northwest, it could go southwest, but there are a couple of little bullets will go through during the night.
And they will start to feel the cold. Remember, there's no protection on a lot of these boats. They're all sitting up on the rail there. They're trying to keep their boats flat. Flat is fast. A lot of the crews, even before we left, had wet weather gear. They had their layers going. You do need. I've always found when I sail myself, is a warm crew and a well-fed crew are a fast crew. So there are always a few tips to try and stay warm. And as the temperature drops, it tends to get a little bit dewy, and that'll make things even colder for the crews. And they need to try and stay awake and alert to pick up on those wind shifts, especially if we get those variable winds as things shift closer up near the Sunshine Coast.
I remember doing a delivery once just off the coast here on a 40-footer, and there was only 2 of us on board, and it was about 2 or 3 in the morning, and the westerly was blowing. And I had a beanbag out on the rail, and I was sitting on the rail steering on the beanbag, and it was so cold I went and got the other beanbag and put it on top of me and sort of created a Jordan sandwich and to try and warm myself up because it did get extremely cold.
It can be deceptive like that. It creeps up on you, and sometimes you just don't quite know what they're going to get. Oh, look at them there. You can see how fantastic they look there with all their kites up, heading north.
It's good to see the colours, and those kites are going to start for quite a while. The real risk is sort of later tonight, early in the morning, we're going to go into that low pressure system where they're going to have wind from all directions. The secret to winning is to get as far north as quickly as possible. Now that obviously is logical, but from a weather perspective, to get north as quickly as possible, if any of the slower boats run the risk of the big low that's setting up. There's going to be huge winds down here on the Gold Coast, sort of coming into Monday, I think, is probably where we're going to see it. And that will reach all the way up to the top of Kagari. But once you go Sunday, once you get to the top and head up towards Mackay, you're going to get those westerlies, and the westerlies will freshen, but it won't be as bad as being right south, so it'll be quicker.
Absolutely, and you may end up that the sea state should relax a little bit. Once you get north of Lady Elliot Island, then you've got a little bit of an effect from the reef up there as well.
Yep.
So that'll make the sort of the run into Mackay nice and smooth.
That's another point. That big low pressure is going to generate some serious swells, so some of those boats are going to have some waves to ride. Particularly, it'll be the exact angle once you get to the top of Kagari. It's pretty much right up your bum all the way up, so that will be a very interesting joy. We did have first light on screen there, then we've just dropped back to the main field. I'll just see if Hayden's out there. We're going to cross to him shortly and just check out what he's seeing. Okay, so he's right behind us at the moment. The boats are heading up to Mackay. Now this is a new race on the calendar. It's the second running of the race. Mackay, for those who haven't been overseas, we talked about the Gold Coast being beautiful, but Mackay is right up north. It's inside the Great Barrier Reef. Near shore, they've got the St. Bees Islands with beautiful reefs and rainforests and koalas, and then Keswick, which is rich in marine life. Mackay is also known for its harbour beach, its marina and blue water lagoon. To National Park, mountain ranges and the ridges and valleys, and it's like up through Tullabudgera, that's just gorgeous, and it's just so much fun just to hang out.
I really hope some of the competitors do get to spend a couple of days in Mackay to really embrace where you are. There's so many things that you can do. There's going to be the racing village there ready to go, ready to welcome everybody. But it really is somewhere that I hope that many of the partners might be flying into, and you can spend a few more days just exploring Mackay and the surrounds. It's quite special.
Yeah. Now we mentioned that there's a lot of current flowing down the coast. From a tide perspective, the tide's coming in till 3 o'clock, so this tide is coming down the coast as well, so that's doubling the effect. There is trackers on all the boats, so if you are interested in the race, you've fallen for the race, you can actually watch them right through the race by going to the website, the Gold Coast Marina, Gold Coast to Mackay website, and watch the race, but you can click onto the trackers and you can days, 17 hours, maybe even out to 3 days is what we're sort of budgeting for. So the marina, of course, up there is open and can take all these boats coming in. It's got 4.5 metres depth. So the website, you've got that for me, Danielle, for the tracker?
Yeah, so that's goldcoastmackay.com. That's where we are to get the live tracking for all the boats. So make sure that you log in, keep an eye on them. The crews will be posting updates sort of every 4 to 6 hours, and we will be getting hopefully some photos and some of the live experiences from off the boats over the coming days, letting us know how they're going, what they're eating, and how they're tracking on their way to Mackay. There's a lot going on for a lot of the boats, and you can be involved too, even from home.
Now, one thing, if you are in Mackay and you do want to watch the finish, like it's just off the marina, it's literally right straight on, and there is a spectator zone that you can actually see. If you go out along road, the end of that, near that would be the eastern
breaks
side of breakwall, and there's a spectator zone where you can actually watch the boats come in and finish, which would be quite enjoyable. So if you're watching on Tracker, you can actually watch on Tracker and then dash down and see them finish live. So that would be pretty cool. If you
considering of all the hard work and all the crews here, would love to see anybody out there. So if you do have 5 minutes to see your favourite boat cross the finishing line, they've worked really hard over the last couple of days. It's halfway through some of their northern programs. It would be fantastic to see you out there supporting.
On the coast, the strategy, as we discussed, could be to stay close to the shore. So from the Gold Coast right up to K'gari, you will be able to likely, if that plays out, those boats will be just sticking right next to the shore, and there'll be some good viewing. You'll be able to actually see the boats going up the coast for the next day and a half, basically.
Absolutely, definitely. Like I said, the slower boats would probably go, I mean, at an estimate, they're probably going 6 to 8 knots for some of the slower boats. Wild Thing's probably taken off
18 to 20.
18 to 20, yeah. So Wild Thing's probably well and truly past, but there's quite a few boats who will be taking their time to get up there, going as fast as they can, and you will get an opportunity to see them all the way up the coast. And yeah.
So the interesting thing with Wild Thing, of course, it used to be the Beige Yes, which is an 80-footer Carp Quack-owned boat, and Warren extended it 20 feet to make it 100, and he had the original 80-foot rig on, but now he's put on a 100-foot rig he got off Wild Oats, one of their old rigs, and I still think he's got the 80-footer keel on the boat, so she's a little underweight. It does run water ballast, but the thing is that it's a light boat, and so light boats go downwind really, 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 really well. So I think that they'd be very excited about what this is going to bring.
I think absolutely. I think they won't be as affected also by this the shorter swell that we're currently feeling. They'll just, because of their length, they'll just be able to just run straight over the top of everything, and their wide beam, they'll be having a great time, an absolute blast on the way up there.
An absolute blast is exactly right, my friend. As we've had today, we've had an absolute blast. You've been amazing, Danielle, for your first guy doing commentary. And Hayden has also been fantastic. He just stepped right up and done an amazing job. Our friends at Down Under Sail have bought this package, and our friends here as part of the Gold Coast City Marina Gold Coast to Mackay Yacht Race. It's been an absolute joy to do this start with you and Hayden and the rest of the team, and hopefully everyone has a safe trip, and this race just gets bigger and bigger each year. Thank you to the Southport Yacht Club for all the work they do, and yeah, I think we're going to wind it out because we've lost sight of them. They're all taken off up the coast, and say thank you and
Thank you for having me, and I said I wish all the crews the very, very best. I hope they all get through tomorrow night safely and enjoy the party at Mackay. I know everyone is very much looking forward to welcoming them.
And we'll give you some updates on Barkarati as well if you want, so just stay in touch on that as well. See you later, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.